Hey guys, Renee Jewett here. So I know all of us work out for different reasons. Maybe you're trying to gain muscle, lose body fat, work out for your overall health. Maybe you're an aspiring competitor, maybe a combination of all of those. But a few things that we all have in common is we're all trying to eat healthy and we're all trying to spend less money at the grocery store. We're trying to stick to a budget, am I right? You know I've been in a spot where I had big goals, but I had a very small wallet and a very tight budget. I didn't have endless amounts of money to spend at the grocery store. So I had to stick to cost-efficient proteins, carbs, and fats. And today I'm gonna show you my top picks of the proteins, carbs, and fats that you can throw together to make a healthy meal, stick to a budget, and still reach your goals. So without further ado, let's take a look at those. So I will say, when you're trying to stick to a budget and you're going into the grocery store, make sure you have a grocery list that you're sticking to. Have an idea of where your proteins, carbs, and fat sources are gonna come from. That way you don't go blindly into the grocery store and not know, what you're looking for. Also, never go to the grocery store hungry because you're just gonna grab a bunch of stuff that you don't need. So my top cost-efficient protein sources, the first one is gonna come at no surprise to anybody because this is a staple in pretty much every bodybuilder's diet, and that's going to be chicken breast. Very, very low in fat, about 31 grams of protein per 100 gram serving. Chicken thigh will be a little bit cheaper than the chicken breast, but you do have to keep in mind the fat content will be higher for chicken thighs. Second on my list is going to be eggs. So eggs are fairly cheap. Per egg, you're getting 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. If you don't want all the fat in the eggs, you can buy just purely egg whites in the carton. This is just proteins, 0 carbs, 0 fat. A little bit more expensive than the eggs, so you have to weigh out how much you're using and if it would be worth it to do the eggs in the carton or the whole eggs. Next on the list, not glamorous, but I have eaten many cans of tuna trying to stick to a budget. I would say you want to limit your tuna consumption to probably a couple of cans a week, a couple of servings a week, just because of the chance of mercury toxicity. Now, I did find a statistic that said you would have to eat like 6 cans a day for like a couple of weeks to reach the level of mercury toxicity from tuna, but still you'll probably want to limit your consumption to a few times a week. 1 can has about 25 grams of protein, very, very low fat. You do want to look for the ones that are packed in water versus the oil, just to keep fat content down. Next one is going to be cottage cheese. This is versatile. You can make it savory, you can make it sweet. It comes in full fat, it comes in fat-free. I usually get the fat-free. It has 12 grams of protein per 110 grams, serving, 0 fat, and about 5 grams of carbs. So those are my top protein sources. Very cost effective, pretty versatile. You can have eggs for breakfast, any one of these, chicken, tuna, cottage cheese for any of your other meals. So let's move on to the carb sources. All right, so moving on to my cost-effective carb sources. Now, first on my list is going to be rice. I love rice, especially jasmine rice. Per 100 grams, you're getting about 28 grams of carbs, virtually no fat, and a few grams of protein. This carb source is cheap, easy to cook in big batches, and easily digestible. Moving on to my second carb source, that is going to be oatmeal. Now, this is going to have higher satiety than the rice because it does have 4 grams of fiber per 40 gram serving, 27 grams of carbs, a few grams of fat, and about 5 grams of protein. You are going to want to opt for plain rolled oats, quick oats, or steel cut oats, depending on your preference. Just avoid those packets that are flavored, as a lot of times they have a ton of added sugar in them. And last on my carb source list is going to be the potato. Medium potato, about 173 gram potato, has about 37 grams carbs, 5 grams of protein, and virtually no fat. Also has 4 grams of fiber, so higher satiety than the rice. Now, moving on to the fat sources. All right, so moving on to my cost-effective fat sources. First on my list is going to be peanut butter. Now, per 2 tablespoons, you're getting 8 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of fat. You are gonna wanna opt for a peanut butter with a very short ingredient list and low or no added sugars and oils. Sometimes I like to buy just bulk peanuts and put them in my Ninja, blend them until it turns into peanut butter. But you can find a lot of good options in the store as well. Now, for convenience sake, I am adding just nuts to this list. Price point is gonna be higher than just a peanut butter, but sometimes just for convenience in some instances, it is easier just to throw nuts in a Ziploc or a container and take it with you instead of the peanut butter. All right, so second on my list is going to be olive oil. Per 1 tablespoon of olive oil, you're getting 14 grams of fat. So this is very calorie dense, which means a little goes a long way. But that also means you're getting more bang for your buck because a bottle can last quite a long time. So those are my top protein, carb, and fat sources. Choose one from each, protein, carb, and fat, throw it together. It makes a great, healthy, cost-efficient meal. All right, now that I went over my cost-effective protein, carb, and fat sources, I have 3 extra budgeting tips for you. So tip number 1 is to shop at bulk stores like Costco, Sam's, or BJ's. This allows you to buy in larger quantities and saving cash at the same time. That's if you can swing the annual membership fee. I think Costco is about $60 for an annual membership fee. So if you can work it into your budget, it might be worth it. Tip number 2 is to buy generic instead of name brand. Take my oatmeal for instance. I buy the store brand instead of Quaker brand because it is a few bucks cheaper, and that does add up over time. And tip number 3, did you really think I was gonna end this without talking about your fruits and veggies? Now, any well-rounded diet is gonna include your fruits and veggies, so don't skip out on them. Buy frozen instead of fresh. There's really no nutritional downside. It's more cost effective and they are gonna stay good for longer. So with that being said, those are my budgeting tips and my budgeting foods. Let me know in the comments below if you have a favorite food that is cost effective or if you have any tips. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.